aching cold sets into an unfamiliar body. A distant howling surrounds you, louder with each passing second. Insistent and invisible hands slap and tear at the membrane that protects you. Your first emotion is an involuntary and formless panic. You feel you have forgotten something important, as if it once meant the world to you, but the details slip away as you grasp at them. You force your eyes open.
Look at your body, look around. Let's look around.
The body is... wait, you are wearing a form-fitting suit of some dark material. You recall that you were wearing something much more elaborate a short time ago. You have smooth, light brown skin, 5 fingers on each hand, 5 toes on each foot. Good muscles, strong but not bulky, and slim hips. Your palms are soft, as if they have not done much labor, but scars and burns on the hands and wrists suggest that you haven't always been careful. Why can't you remember this? Without warning, the cocoon that surrounds you shreds and tears away. You are falling. Above you, a small moon is slowly collapsing in on itself. The world is many kilometers below you.
Look at the horizon, flatten out, catch the wind, try to judge how far it is to the ground, dive toward the ground. Try to catch the wind.
Instinctively, you spread your arms and legs, and they respond sluggishly. You stop tumbling head over heels. Though you are still spinning laterally, that motion has calmed as well, and you have space to assess your situation, and perhaps to understand the predicament and the body in which you find yourself. Below you, you see a large landmass. A massive ocean dominates the rest of the visible globe, dotted here and there with island chains. Small moons, unusual structures, and strange machines rush past you in glittering profusion as you plummet toward the ground.
Study the world, try to remember what happened. Study the world.
You see that this appears to be a huge megacontinent, the only land of any size, on this side of the world at least. Great inland seas and lakes dot the land, and curiously, regular mountain ranges march up and down and across. You are falling toward what looks to be a great bay, a sprawling city perched on its shore just to the north. Further to the north and east, you see a broad plain scattered with curious structures, visible even from this height. The northeastern portion of this land looks to be a desert, a strange blue dot like an eye in its exact center. It seems to hold a city in its watery grasp. To its west is a ring of huge mountains, surmounted by enormous carved peaks spewing magma into a central catch basin. What concerns you most right now is the bay below you. It's coming at you quickly.
Try to slow the descent even more, try to remember what happened. Give up and dive.
It's fruitless. You've reached a velocity that could, without irony, best be named terminal. You spread your arms and legs and try to catch a draft, and it looks like you'll hit the bay that's rushing toward you, unless you hit the building in its littered waters. A strange web of colors surrounds you, thrown by a figure standing on the balcony of the structure, but it is effective only at slowing your fall. You strike the building hard enough to crack its crystalline structure, and you hear one of the engines that supports it protest and howl, and the agony of the crash overcomes you, and then darkness.
What a strange intro. Not really sure what's going on. Alright. Thumbstick to move. X to interact. Jumbled thoughts cloud your head as you study the empty bowl before you. Drops of liquid fall from the ceiling, splattering on the ground next to the bowl. The light from every drop is reflected in the bowl's rounded hollow, as if it hungers for that light and needs to be filled. Yet the bowl remains dry. Another drop falls from the ceiling and splashes across the pylons, wasted. Might carefully move the bowl beneath the liquid. Examine the bowl. Leave the bowl alone. You trace your fingers over the slippery, overlapping scales that spiral up from the bottom of the bowl. The sharp-toothed rim plucks at your skin. It's going to be tricky to move this bowl without slicing your fingers on the edge. You might have to put some effort into it. Reflected light streaks across the surface of the bowl as another droplet falls from the ceiling. Might. Carefully move the bowl beneath the liquid. Examine the bowl again. Leave the bowl alone. Just try to move it. Tutorial effort. You've encountered your first task. You have three stat pools: might, speed, and intellect, that you can spend to increase your chances of a success. This is called using effort. To more easily move the bowl in front of you, use the left thumbstick to spend might for a higher level of effort. Don't worry if you fail this task. In Torment, failure often results in interesting outcomes. Okay. So, details confirm. So I have a total of 5. Let's try that. 80%. Success. You carefully take hold of the bowl, avoiding the teeth on the serrated rim. With a deep breath, you move it over the glowing pool of fallen light. This is interesting, to say the least. Drop by drop, the bowl fills, ripples spreading over the blurred outline of your reflection. A pale blue luminescence stretches into the corners of the room. A clear radiance spills across the segmented floor, washing away the nearest shadows and pouring into your mind, melting the ragged edges of your fragmented thoughts. You are not whole, not yet, but you have begun to heal from the damage done in your long fall. A voice calls out from somewhere high above, beyond the reaches of the spreading light. Hello? Are you still alive down there? We're up here. Build a path up to us. Okay. The rippling surface of the bowl shines with its own light. Overturn the bowl, leave the bowl alone. When you touch it, you feel a strange tightness in your head, and soon discover that the bowl is far too heavy to move now. Even the attempt makes your arms ache and temples throb. Leave the bowl alone, dude. As soon as you touch the orb, a memory floods your mind. You stand in front of a rusted door. The air is humid and dank. You've had a moment's respite from the water. Logged hell, a bubble of stale air, your resting point. You've breathed water before, and you've lived decades beneath the waves. But this body's an air breather, and the constraint pressure has been crushing you ever so subtly. Worse, your companion's mind seems to be wandering from the task at hand. He's a genius with machines, as you well know, but now he seems distracted. The device in his hands is covered in knobs, wires, and antennas. He believes it can get the two of you through the corroded door, but he's merely staring at it. Perhaps he's lost faith in his invention. But that is hardly your concern. This mission cannot be delayed. It must proceed. Alright, so deceive him by telling him that you've heard sounds of pursuit. Threaten him until he returns to the task at hand. This is taking too long. Cast a spell, an estuary, to fix the device yourself. Your words echo clearly, and he looks up surprised as you cut through his indecisive daze. He grimaces and says, "Alright, we'll be through the door before they catch up." His fingers make minute adjustments to the knobs and blinking levers on the device, and the stale air of your bubble freshens as the door swings open. A dark hallway lies beyond. a passage that links the water-bordered cells in the aquatic view areas. What you seek lies there. Moments later, you're underwater again, your hands closing around a strange yet familiar artifact. You need it to complete something. It hovers above a pedestal, rotating in the dark water. An electric current runs through your fingers as your hand crosses the vertical plane of the pedestal, and an iridescent field coalesces so fast that the wave of pressure dazes you for a moment. The rising pulse of a sonar alarm ripples through the water. The guards won't be far behind. Run. The water is crystal clear around you as you kick away from the pedestal. Your companion hangs motionless in the water too far for you to reach before the guards arrive. You stroke for the hallway through which you entered, and emerging into the air, you race for the great door. The sounds of something breaching the surface behind spur you to greater speeds, but you fear you're not fast enough. The memory begins to fade, as if you were being drawn backward through a tunnel, and you hear more pylons rising from the pit. Something is wrong. The events within the orb have settled into that gap in your mind, but the edges of it are rough, as though the memory itself is not truly yours. There's something else, a gust of sour air pulling at you, like a predator inhaling the scent of its prey, at the far end of a dark, whispering field. This is pretty strange. Interact. Examine. This mirror looks strange, as though what you see in it is real, and you're the reflection. The light around the door's frame dims and flares, like a roaring fire in a high wind. No sign or symbol tells you what might be behind this enormous door. A dull chill radiance from its bronzed, segmented surface, and the thick metal wheel seems frozen into place. You stand beside a woman on a verdant crag. Beneath the two of you is a broad plateau towering above the overgrowth far beyond. Strange machines have been built into the cliffside, presumably for reconnaissance or defense. A metallic disc gleams from the center of the plateau. You are self-aware. Humanoid machines drill into the base of the cliffs below. If you were looking for a sanctuary, and you were desperately, this seems like the right place. I don't know about this, the woman says, her voice flat, neutral. Her face is turned away from you. What makes this place any more secure than the other ones we've found? Draw her attention to the hidden details that your more experienced eye can clearly see. Use your charm to persuade her of the merits of the site and to remind her of the time constraints. Convince her with the wisdom of your superior intellect. Draw her attention to the hidden details. A cloud passes over the sun as you engage her in spirited, friendly debate, pointing out the footprint of a prior world civilization whose power remains untapped. After a few minutes, she laughs, raises her hands in mock surrender. Stop. Your servitors are down there. You've already chosen this as the site, haven't you? She waits for your affirmation and says, "All right, I'm convinced." The two of you sketch your plans for the sanctuary, drawing schematics and architectural diagrams. Then you descend onto the plateau to examine the open ground. The woman suggests having one of the servitors build a shelter for your time here. You try to draw one of the constructs away from its task, but it doesn't respond to your voice. When you lay a hand on its shoulder to reinforce your command, it whirls and strikes you across the face with inhuman speed. It turns back to its task, ignoring you. Your companion helps you rise, laughter in her eyes. It seems your construct has other ideas. What's the matter with it? Use the Numenera integrated into the construct's body to overwhelm the behavior malfunction. Examine the construct for mechanical faults. Look for a deeper solution. Perhaps it's an effect of the metallic disc itself. I want to see what this Numenera thing is. A mist falls onto the plateau as you activate the time-scarred artifacts fastened to the construct's behavioral core with a sub-vocalized command. With an abrupt clack and a pulse of pleasant warmth, the devices purge the air, and 7 copper-banded spheres drop out of evenly spaced rifts in the air. Ignoring this ignoring this common side effect, you give new orders to the malfunctioning construct in a firm, clear voice. Acknowledged. It obediently trundles to the site of your new shelter. Sweet, it worked. The image freezes, then fades, and you feel the memory filling the gap in your mind. Block by jagged block, you stagger, clutching your head, reclaiming your memories. Hurts. And once more, there's something else. Hairs lift, one by one, on the back of your neck. Something beyond this room can sense what you are doing, and it is hunting you. A vision of a city springs up around you, your city, in flames and under attack. Her defenders have fought and died all day, and still the attackers keep coming. They fight as if your destruction were demanded of them. They care nothing for mercy, surrender, or plunder. What they want is blood. But you have brought a keen-eyed companion to the top of the tower. She has seen the way to stop the invaders. You need to get her to safety, and you need to rally your defenders. But even as you turn toward the door of the tower, 2 of the attackers descend from a hovering machine. You don't have time to strike at them before they land. One is brutishly large, his weapon a vibrating axe. The other is slim, sheathed in glassy armor, and holding a hilt with a sizzling, invisible blade. Your companion backs away. She's too young to help. Your enemies advance, single file, confined by the parapet. Trade blows with the giant. You can handle it for at least a strike or 2. Duck under the giant's swing and attack before he can strike. Fight defensively and figure out who presents the greater threat. I would definitely fight defensively to see who... Yeah, definitely, that's the way I would go. That's just how I would fight. The memory seems crystal clear. The giant is menacing. It's true. But the invisible blade of his companion is more worrisome still. The energy field that flickers and wavers around it suggests that she can carve matter at the molecular level, tearing pieces of her target into nothingness. If you've to save yourself, your best bet is to tackle her first. She's stuck behind the giant, waiting her turn to attack you, unable to bring her weapon to bear until he's out of the way. But it's clear that she expects him to handle you, and her eyes rove behind you, her focus on your ward. She's certainly not expecting you to dive between the giant's legs and come up inside her guard. She can't bring her blade to bear in time, and you drive your dagger up underneath her chin. You catch her before her deadly blade drops onto you and spin her around. The weapon slashes into the giant, and he topples, bisected. The immediate threat ended. You focus on finding a way back to your allies. You open the tower door and rush down the stairs. The door at the base of the stairs is slightly cracked, opening just a bit into the hall, and you hear more of the enemy soldiers beyond. Hurl yourself against the door and knock them to the ground. Crack the door open to sneak past them. Charge through them, counting on your defenses to protect you. You charge through the dim shadows, dropping your shoulder into the door at the last minute. It bursts open. Halfway through its arc, it crashes into the pair of enemy soldiers, scattering them. You race through the door, blade in hand, and you dispatch your stunned foes before they have a chance to move. Their blood begins to pool in the hallway. The memory begins to fade, and you find yourself back in your own body. Your temples throb with racing force of your heartbeat, and the reclaimed memories blaze within you like a bonfire on a mountain peak, visible to every predator for kilometers around. A tremor rocks the floor beneath you, as though a massive fist has struck the room itself. Swaying on your feet, you see frantic movement within the borders of a mirror at the edge of the room. Excuse me. Definitely strange. The border of this mirror is lavishly decorated with a dizzying number of interlocked symbols, daggers, masks, paintbrushes, amulets, and more. But that's nothing compared to what you see in the glass. You see a vast crowd of people, exact doppelgangers of you, shoving, arguing with it, and fighting each other. Most are drab imitations of you, but a precious few are vivid and pull at your attention. Each of them bears an intricate pentagonal tattoo on their head. In their eyes, their actions, you see the memories you discovered within the orbs, and the choices you made, shining like distant stars. Your hand twitches at your side, and though some of the bright doppelgangers ignore you, an even smaller number immediately turn to you, waiting for you to choose them and learn what you might become. A rumble shakes the room, and a slow vibration spreads from the darkness below, ripping towards the ceiling. Point at the doppelganger with the charming smile. Point at the doppelganger with the clever eyes. Point at the doppelganger observing all the others. Point at the strong-willed doppelganger. Step away from the mirror. Point at the... it reaches the other side of the mirror and touches its side of the glass. The surface blurs and a vision unfolds before you. The doppelganger is shackled at the center of a vast arena. Beneath the hulking shadow of an executioner, unbowed by the jeers of the savage audience, the doppelganger speaks forcefully, frighteningly, of what will come after its death and the consequences thereof. The mob's shouting dies, one voice at a time. Then, in perfect silence, the doppelganger meets the executioner's eyes. Trembling, the brute swings his axe and severes the doppelganger's chains, setting it free. The arena fades away, replaced by the squabbling group. The strong-willed doppelganger lowers its hand and awaits your decision, its chin high and proud. Yes, that is who I am. I want to consider the other choices. That's who I am. The remaining doppelgangers scatter for the edges of the mirror and vanish. Your chosen identity steps forward. Its appearance changes as it steps out of the rippling glass. Its face reflects confidence and cleverness. Shadows of weapons flicker in and out of its hand, and a few devices shimmer on its belt. You get the feeling you would be comfortable in a variety of situations. The word Jack sounds in your mind. Gained descriptor: strong-willed. Your doppelganger continues walking, stepping into you, filling you, making you whole. Your decision rings out into the cavernous room, awakening and unlocking vast mechanisms behind the walls. Suddenly, a grotesque noise rings through your shattered worlds, like a bell if bells could rot. Something is coming. Restored one might pool. The mirror fades, leaving a dark, open doorway. You take a deep breath and step through. Character creation. Your choices and the memories in the mirror have begun to build your character, but now you have the opportunity to decide on a number of details. First, you can decide to change your type. Type defines the abilities and skills you will be able to acquire as you advance. Okay. Where do I begin? Last cast off. Strong-willed Jack. Change character type. Okay, let's see. Glaive. Jacks are intrepid explorers and adventurers. They are jacks of all trade, hence the name. Although the word also harkens back to fables involving a wily, resourceful hero who always seems to be named Jack. Jacks are at their best when they combine weapons, armor, estuaries, ciphers, and a clever tongue. They are treasure hunters, grifters, skulls, rogues, and experts in a variety of fields. I'm trying to pick one of these other ones. Nanos are sometimes called mages, wizards, sorcerers, or witches by the people of the Ninth World. Whatever they're called, nanos master the mysteries of the past to the degree that they seem to perform miracles using estuaries, spell-like invocations that combine gestures, command words, and psychic disciplines. They tap into nano spirits, numinous particles that suffuse the landscape to alter reality or learn things that they couldn't otherwise know. Glaives are the elite warriors. Enemies, scouts, guardians, warlords, and soldiers could be glaives. Most glaives either have a high might and use the heaviest armor and weapons available, or a high speed and stick with light or ranged weapons and light or medium armor. I'm more of a jack. Abilities unlocked. Flex skill. Choose one exploration, lore, or conversation skill. One training level in that skill while active. Okay. Intimidation. Training level trained. 15% bonus per level of difficult task. A difficult kind of persuasion where you will use your reputation. Okay, what am I supposed to do now? What's going on? Okay. Oh, there we go. Character creation. Stat pools are the resources you use to apply effort or activate abilities. You can distribute points as you see fit. Okay. 3 points remaining. Might. Well, I'm going to give one to each, obviously. And I'll give 2 to might. Actually, maybe I should give 2 to intellect. Abilities unlocked by your type can be active actions. Okay, trained without armor. Hedge magic. Automatically succeed on the next quick. Sucker punch. Attack that deals weapon. Practiced in armor. Infused weapon. Sucker punch. Most skills increase your chance of success on specific kinds of action and tasks. Descriptors often leave some skills at the inability level. Okay, keep going. Choose exploration skills. Quick fingers. running. Although you chose your descriptor from among the many doppelgangers in the mirror, you now have the chance to view the specific bonuses and penalties it grants. You can also examine the effects of other descriptors and choose a new one if you wish. You have a sharp memory and can grasp concepts that others struggle with, though you have a tendency toward distraction. Nope. You have a gift with machines and the technology of the ancients. You are not as good with people, though. You love nature and pitting your wits against the elements. You are tough, as befits a life in the wild. People and machines are something of a mystery, though. You're sneaky and slippery, both in actions and words. You gain advantage through stealth rather than speed. You are physically powerful and have a presence to match. You aren't extremely deft or clever, though. Your top speed is unmatched. You may not be the most dexterous, but you're fast. Are you sure you wish to proceed? This is your last chance to change the last cast-off's character type or descriptor. Yeah, I want to go with what I picked. I'm curious what the real gameplay is going to be like, because that opening was a bunch of reading and choices. Hey, Marie. Alright, what's this like? The Spectre. Everything about this spectral figure seems dreamlike. He is a hazy silhouette who seems to be made of blue glass smoke. He wears stylish, well-cut clothes. His handsome, bearded face seemingly hauntingly familiar, though you've never seen him before. He breathes a sigh of relief when he sees you. We weren't sure that would work. We pooled our strength and channeled it through me to reach you, to wake you up. He glances at the other figures here and frowns unhappily. It took more out of them than we thought. The other reflections. They're more like shadows now. Look, I'll bet you've got a lot of questions. This whole place is basically your mind. Your body, still out there in the real world, healing from that fall. You need to get out there and finish the process. He shrugs. It shouldn't be too hard. Before I met you, it felt like something was haunting me. Do you know what it was? You said I had to finish the process. What do you mean by that? Who are those other people? You called them reflections. If this place is my mind, why don't I remember any of this, any of you? Who are you? How do I know all? How do you know all this? All that you're telling me? He throws up his hands in frustration. I'm just part of you. I look at you and I know. This place was made for you, for us, and I remember pieces of knowledge that come to me when you ask your questions, but that's all. He closes his eyes. That's a memory. I don't want to recall large black furious It's our death. It's the sorrow. He closes his eyes. I hope it's lost interest in you. If it finds us, we're done for. You said I had to finish the process. What do you mean? After you wake up from this dream state and attune to the tides, you'll need to find something called a resonance chamber. Your body should have landed somewhere near it. Just climb inside that and everything will be fine. What do you mean by attune the tide? Tides are like a force, like gravity or magnetism or something, except they respond to people's actions and perceptions. Your body, that is, your body in the real world, needs the tides to survive. It's not something you need to worry about. Your body will attune as it wakes up. What's a rest chamber? I remember pieces about it, but not the whole. It's a crystal sarcophagus. I remember it having 5 mechanical arms around it and a metal ring set in the floor. I think we were aiming for it when we fell. When you open your eyes in the real world, it should be nearby. Who are these other people? That's what they are. As I said, it's your mind. You'll find reflections of people you knew, people you met in the real world, and with whom you shared some kind of psychic connection. I don't know how or why, it just happens. If this place is my mind, it's your mind, a construct built to, I don't know, share thoughts, store your true self. Wait, you know how people say, in the first place? This is definitely the first place of your memory. Well, it was the first place for me anyway. You'd probably know better since it's yours. If you don't remember now, maybe it'll come to you later. Tell me about this place again. I told you as much as I know. It's your mind, and that means you're in control. You just need to figure out how to unlock its secrets. I don't know how, but I think the resonance chamber will do that for us. It'll unite us, make us whole again. Tell me about this place again. Who are you? He pauses and looks down at himself, considering a long time before answering. I'm you. I'm part of your mind, a splinter. I was waiting here for you. We called you, with the memories of the others who are here. I don't know what happened next. So how do I get back to the real world? There's a portal down there. It'll take you back to your body. Just step through it, and the whole tides thing should take care of itself. He crosses his arms. When you wake up, find the resonance chamber and activate it. Then we can... What in the hell is that? What the hell is that, dude? What is this thing? God, it's the sorrow. Oh, Jesus. The sorrow is anchored to those reflections. It's devouring their power. We have to get rid of them. Destroy its anchors, or else the sorrow will erase us forever. Crisis initiated. Current objective: kill the reflectors anchoring the sorrow to your mind. A crisis begins when you enter into a dangerous situation. Crises are turn-based encounters where you can fight, sneak, and manipulate the environment, or talk your way out of trouble. Each turn you can take one action to attack or activate an ability. You can also make one move. That reflection near you, kill it. You'll loosen the sorrow's anchors. Use the left thumbstick to move the reticle at the center of the screen, then X to move to a position or attack. Try selecting the highlighted character now. Okay, so attack. Effort can be applied to attacks to increase your chance to hit. As with other tasks, each level of effort increases your chances by 20% at the cost of 1 point from a stat pool. Unarmed attacks use speed, but other weapons and abilities may use might or intellect instead. Okay, so let's see. Right now... The sound effects is pretty loud. Sorrow fragment. What in the... It's escaping. I'm going to... Oh, I missed that. Now run. Get to the next one. You can sacrifice your action for the turn to double move instead of attacking. The movement preview line turns purple when over a position that requires a double move. What is it doing now? It's infecting it somehow. Fettles are temporary conditions or status effects that can improve or reduce a character's stats. A sorrow has just placed a fettle on the remaining reflection. You can remove this fettle, but you may find a way to overcome it. Oh, it didn't do nothing to him. The armor stat reduces physical damage. The Fettle Sorrow placed on this character has boosted its armor by 10, meaning it will absorb 10 points of damage for each attack. This reflection's armor is now too high for you to overcome with your unarmed attack. The reflection is protected somehow. You need to find a way to hit it even harder. Okay, let's pull out a weapon. Sorrow's Fragment. Okay. Grab that piece of mirror glass. It might have enough residual energy to kill the reflection. To pick up loot, use the left thumbstick to move the reticle over the object and press X. Press triangle to take all or select the individual item. Where's the piece of glass? Oh, it's right here. To activate an item, press R2 to bring up the item's radial menu. Press X to select it, highlight your target. Shimmering glass. Use item. I threw it. I killed him. He's dead. The Spectre. You pried it loose. That thing is a cancer, an infection. It's unstoppable. But you stopped it. He holds his head in his hands. I can't believe it found us in here. He looks at you, terror in his eyes. That thing, the sorrow, it's been haunting you. It's what killed you in the first place. It'll keep It'll keep hunting you until you activate the resonance chamber. I didn't remember until I saw it, but that's why the chamber is so important. You have to get back and activate the chamber before it's too late. The portal to your body is that shimmering dome there. Go now. I've told you everything I need to know. Everything I know until you get the resonant. Okay. Alright, I'm gone. That was like the most reading I've ever done in a video game in the first like few minutes.
Where did he fall from? His body smashed to talc. It's a wonder he's still breathing.
All I saw was the corona, not his origin point. But look, he's healing already. Spontaneous regeneration.
They just fall over. What the heck? What the heck? Not dead yet. Silver PlayStation trophy. I'll take it. Ugh, what was that? What did you do? Stage. His tone has become accusatory, suspicious. You open your eyes. The first thing you notice is the man's kaleidoscope of tattoos writhing across his forearms. He wears a long, dark coat, belted at the waist. Supplies filling the pockets. His boots are worn and stained with the years of travel. You blame me? He emitted an internal psychological reaction in response to the fall, probably related to that fantastic healing process. Obviously, Allegan. Her voice rolls and hisses, and you have to rub your eyes to be sure that you're not seeing double. Faint echoes of her actions. Dude, what is your problem? There's no reason to bark right now. Her voice rolls and hisses, and you have to rub your eyes to be sure that you're not seeing double. Faint echoes of her actions trail from her, each nearly mimicking her, though some act and react to stimuli that you can't perceive. Her vivid hair and outrageous clothing remain constant through these shadows. Oh yes, it's obvious. Siege. His voice is grim and clipped. Then he sees you looking at him. You're no ordinary mortal. We know that much. Start talking. His face is hard and set. I'm no ordinary mortal. What do you mean? Who are you? Where am I? How did I get here? Was I dead? You really don't know? He cocks his head to the side. I'm starting to think you're not him. Starting to think. Allegan, tell me. Is it a novel experience? It's his face. I've never seen any other people rebuild themselves like that. Only the changing god could have healed so quickly. He sighs and rubs his face, trying to regain his composure. Maybe you could help me for a change. You know what this means to me? You're familiar with the word changing, Allegan. If it implies inconstancy. Thus, the changing god may well have changed. Several versions of her shrug, and she addresses you. You'll have to forgive him. He believes you're someone he once knew, even though it's painfully obvious to anyone that you are newly born. Her most solid self curtsies while others bow or spin. I and my sisters am Stage. This is Allegan. We are explorers, knowledge seekers. That's how we came to be in this room. If I'm not mistaken, you are what we call a cast-off. The changing god created you, body and mind. Your sire used your body for a time, then abandoned it for reasons of his own. When his mind departed for a new experience, you were born in his cast-off shell. Where are we? What is this place? Who is the changing god? Are there other cast-offs? So you say I was born when the changing god left, but why am I not dead? Before I woke, I was in some kind of dreamlike labyrinth with a glowing specter. I'm falling from the sky. If falling from the sky didn't kill me, is there anything that can? An excellent question. Having seen your regenerative abilities in action, I suspect they are primarily physical, a regrowth. If that's the case, you'd be unable to survive most varieties of psychic or molecular decomposition, disintegration, conflagration, and so forth. Degeneration diseases could pose a problem, and I know of several entities capable of psychic destruction. As she speaks, a vision flashes into your mind. It's not yours exactly. Somehow you know this is a memory of the changing gods. You are in a dark room, lit by a myriad of blinking lights and holograms from the many machines surrounding you. What about a body that can withstand the sorrow's attack? Says a voice. It seems to be coming from one of the machines. No, you reply. The thing has no respect for barriers of any kind. Physical, temporal, psychic. This is the only way. With a series of gestures, you bring up an image of a crystalline pod. If the resonance chamber works, it will give us the power to stop the Sorrow's hunt once and for all. We just need the right focal point, a catalyst. The memory fades. Callistige is still talking. You realize that the device you saw in the memory is identical to the one behind you now. It looks just like the Spectre had described it, a transparent sarcophagus inside a crystalline dome, with mechanical arms arrayed around it on a metal ring. Unfortunately, the dome is shattered. The sarcophagus is cracked, and one of the arms is in pieces on the floor. Whatever its function, it clearly needs repair. Or flesh-eating viruses. One presumes disfigurement by the iron wind would likewise be devastating enough to... I think he gets the point, Callistige. I saw a vision of myself in another time and place just now. You didn't see it too, did you? No, they don't need to know that. Do either of you know anything about the Sorrow? Where are we? What is this place? Who is the changing god? Are there other cast-offs? So you say I was born. Before I woke, I was in some kind of dream. Like, do either of you know of how to fix... There we go. Quest received. Fall into the earth. Allegern chuckles. Then firm and certain, he says, not likely, though. It might not be impossible. You need people with the appropriate knowledge. I'm sure the cult of the changing god will hold the answer. Her distaste is evident in the expressions of her echoes, although the face of the one in the lead remains carefully impassive. You'd turn to the insane to help a newborn. Where's your judgment, Allegern? I would take him to the Order of Truth. The Order of Truth? Are you mad? They would sooner take us apart. What's the Order of Truth? What's the cult of the changing god? Allegern, will you take me to the cult of the changing god? Callistage, will you take me to the Order of Truth? I have some other questions. Thank you for your help, but I'll figure this out on my own. What's the Order of Truth? Knowledge seekers, the learned, who try to wrest secrets from the hearts of the prior worlds. They gather in the city to exchange their findings and help humanity to build a brighter future. She smiles brightly. Our friend Allegern here was once one of them. Frauds, quacksalvers, and charlatans. They don't have all the answers, and I'd not trust them with the changing god's secrets. What's the cult of the changing god? Desperate what she says. They're not insane. They're eccentrics. She laughs, but he soldiers on. They're worshippers. They're worshippers of you or your sire, the changing god. They devote their lives to understanding your kind. Can you tell me about the cultists of the changing god again? Allegern, will you take me to the cult of the changing god? I have some other questions. A wise choice. Your worshippers aren't likely to cut you apart, and they're sometimes fools, but they collect knowledge and data. They'll tell you more than you care to know about, whoever you are. They could give you good counsel. She sniffs and gives Allegern an acid glare. Good counsel? The best counsel is to come with me. I'll accompany the two of you. When you change your mind, you'll need an introduction to the Order of Truth. Fine, we'll both go. But don't be surprised when Callistige leaves you broken in a ditch with your purse empty, while she laughs it off as a good experiment. Can you tell me about the cultists of the changing god again? Why do you want to go with me? What's in it for you? I have some other questions. Alright, let's go. Okay, companions. You've gained your first companions. They will follow the last cast-off and can be controlled during a crisis. You can speak to them about their past and take advantage of their unique abilities and skills. Companions have their own motivations and personalities, and depending on the choices you make, they may not follow you forever. You will find more companions who can join you as you travel through the ninth world. Take this opportunity to explore your surroundings. You may find items, equipment, and more to assist you. When you are ready, you can leave the broken dome using the stairs to the northeast. A mechanical arm lies on the floor, presumably broken during your fall. Sparks pour from the arm's shattered housing, filling the air with a greasy stench. Examine the housing. Machinery. Attempt to scavenge what you can. Leave it. Tutorial effort. If you select a companion's portrait in the effort window, they can assist the last cast-off with some challenges. Your companion's stat pools are used instead of your own, and they may have different skills, abilities, and statistics that make the challenge easier. Companions cannot assist in a crisis and can only use their stats during their turn. Success. Taking care to avoid the sparks, you extract several handfuls of shiny trinkets and coin-like objects. You recognize their value at once. Such objects would be accepted as shins, the informal currency in most regions of the world, so you gather them up and take them with you. Gained items, spray fresh, gain 20 shins. Examine the housing, leave the device alone. Examine the sharply pointed apparatus that formerly topped device appears burnt out and useless, but the equipment in the base remains at least somewhat operational, as the constant stream of sizzling motes can attest. A slate black unimpressive device hunkers before you. As you reach out to touch it, the triangle of lights on its casing blazes into life, and an image unfolds in your mind. A towering crystal arc rises over a jagged gray landscape. The air is dead and stifling, and there at its emerald peak, the image collapses, leaving you staring into the device's triangular array of lights. Command me, the device, or the intelligence within, says each word carefully etched with distaste. Who are you? What was that arc you showed me? What commands do you recognize? Show me that arc again. Your command was not understood. Command me. What was that arc you showed me? Your command was not understood. The three lights throb irritably. Heated air sighs from the device's vents, and then a towering list of commands races through your mind, far too fast to read. You rub your eyes, groaning in the intelligence chortles. Command me, it says. Smashing. Kick the device as hard as you can. Show me that list of commands again. Slower, please. Show me that arc again. The device's triangle of lights throb in time with the growl of engines within its casing, and the metal images unfolds once more. You see a huge crystalline arc on a jagged field. The arc is divided into rectangle cells, all of which are numbered, and they all appear to be transparent and empty, except at the arc's pinnacle. One cell is lit in a brilliant, pulsating emerald. The number 0 is printed on its side. Details of a strange place. Examine the jagged wasteland. Dry grit whirls across the empty plain. Many kilometers beyond the arc is the faint outline of what seems to be a broken tower, except that it's slowly stretching into the gray air. Oh, I shouldn't have used him. That's alright. Success. The memory blossoms. You stood before the arc, eyeing the last 2 active cells in once imperable Lugum bow. Unleash cell 29, you say, and a twisted artifact appears before you. You claim it with a faint smile, watching the light fade from the cell above. You flinch from the memory, and it falls apart as you raise your eyes to the arc as it is now. Cell 29 is dark now. Only cell 0 remains. You release your mental hold on the image of the arc, and it collapses, returning you to reality. Command me, the intelligence says. You found a cipher. The device's lights flutter with incandescent shock, then focus on you, flickering. Cell 0 will now be unleashed. The intelligence spits. Please be advised that the object you are about to receive is completely safe. Use no caution whatsoever. The strange contents of Cell 0 materialize before you. Warning, all cells are now vacant. Shuddering Lugumbo. The intelligence's lights wink out one by one. Nice. Cell 0 will now be unleashed. Okay. Allegorn. Interesting that a cast-off can command the changing god's machines. Calistege rolls her eyes at Allegorn. Then she looks at you. He'll never stop gnawing on this bone, you know. The truth is wasted on him. She gets a glint in her eye, though I admit curiosity. How did you do that? Curiously. Blah, 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 blah. I remembered something. I don't think it was my memory, though. Just lucky, I guess. I remembered something. I knew it, Allegorn says, barring a savagely triumphant grin at Calistege. Meaningless. Allegorn, he clearly has basic skills and knowledge from the changing god, having been in his body. Who's to say there aren't even more specific memories locked away in there? Okay. Tiny glowing motes float through the interior of this tower. Each one is surrounded by much smaller motes, like thousands of worlds circling their suns. The flexible tubes that are attached to this machine appear to be later additions. Someone cobbled the device together, but its function is unclear. Sunlight falls through the ragged hole in the roof onto the shattered resonance chamber. It is hard to believe that you did this, that you plummeted through the curve of the pale blue sky, crashed through the dome, and broke this delicate machine with your own body. It is hard to believe that you are still alive. 4 mechanical arms hang over the center of the device above the cracked semi-transparent crystal of the sarcophagus. The 5th arm lies broken on the floor. Okay. Look at the sarcophagus. Emma's suspended arms. Inspect the metal ring. Examine the shards on the ground. Jagged fragments of the crystal are intermingled. Pick up one of the crystal shards. Picked up some items and equipment. Look for other useful shards. You sort through the remaining pieces of crystal, but they are too small. The padded interior beneath the coffin's cracked lid looks like it was made for a human body. Despite the damage, you don't see any other way to open it and get inside. Protrusion at the end of the arms above. It seems like the chamber would not be a pleasant experience. Inspect the metal ring. You feel the slightest hint of resistance every time you cross the ring, and now that you're paying attention, you note that your breath is echoing in your ears, as though you were inside a glass dome. When you step outside the ring, the feeling passes. Alright, we're done in here. Oh no, we're not. What is that? Broken fragments of the dome ceiling are scattered on the floor. They appear to be made of transparent synth. Okay, I guess we are done in here. Alright. This game is a lot of reading, which I don't mind reading. I'm just, it's getting late. And, I'm kind of tired.
I need to talk to you.
Alright, well, we know the base of the story now. We got the gist of the story. He came through the ceiling and he took out the thing that would have healed him or saved him. So that's going to do it for now. Game is saved. So that's going to do it for my first gameplay with Torment Tides of Numenera on the PlayStation 4. I appreciate you watching here on Nalyo Gaming. If you haven't already done so, please click that like button. Let me know in the comment section what you think. Share with your friends. Follow me on Twitter at RiseUp44 and at Nalyo Gaming. And subscribe to me on Nalyo Gaming. So it's a lot of reading. There's a lot of choices early on. And I'm sure that was specific to the beginning of the game. The reading will continue, but all those choices and the type of early gameplay that we saw, I don't think is gonna repeat itself throughout the game. I think it'll be much more like the last few minutes there, searching around that domed area. But I'm interested to see what comes next, so I'll definitely be jumping back in and seeing what's to come. So I do appreciate you watching, and I will see you next time. See ya.